If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
We're all locked in now.
Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. That's true. I guess if, like wedding crashers is a thing, I guess Christian is a meeting crasher.
Yeah.
Just bullied his way into a lunch.
We just had a meeting with our wonderful staff. And yes,
Sales staff.
And I asked Christian to come with us because he wasn't on the invite. And I said, yeah, you should join in. And then they provided lunch, but it was by order. You had to place an order, which I did not do. I forgot to do. And Christian wasn't invited, and then he ate somebody's sandwich. So.
Who didn't get one?
Still learning names, I guess. I don't know.
Was it Clay?
No, I don't. I think everyone ate.
No, everybody. I looked around. Everybody had food.
I worked with a guy once who there was a client that brought in breakfast, and on her way out the door, the intern who was working on the show grabbed it and was driving up to class, right? And then the producer at the time saw that there wasn't enough for him. Like the host got theirs, and then there wasn't enough. It's like breakfast burritos or something. He called the intern and made her come back to the studio.
Bring me my food back.
It's like,
now.
I can't imagine. That sounds like a real Salzar thing to do. It wasn't Lloyd, though.
Yeah.
No, it was somebody who's no longer in the business. But yeah, it was a fun meeting. Way to crash it up, Christian. Way to go. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing great. You?
Living the dream, buddy.
Oh, good.
Dying to hear your take on the game last night.
The Mammoth game?
The Mammoth game. Game 5.
As we have begun to go deeper in this series, I think it's fair to say, even though the last two games have gone to OT, very possible that the Mammoth could win Game 6 here back in Salt Lake City and send this thing to Game 7. I do think if you zoom out, I think it's fair to say that Vegas is a better team than the Mammoth. Vegas has consistently executed in the biggest moments, far better than the Mammoth have. Mammoth do not know how to close these games extraordinarily clearly. A crazy stat going around right now. 29 times in history has a team led in the third period in 5 straight playoff games. And in every one of those, 28 of the previous 29, the series was over by Game 5. And this is the only one that it's not. And not only is it not over, the Mammoth are trailing in this series. They're not up 3-2 coming back home to close it out. They actually have to win 2 straight now and find a way to do it. So to have a 2-1 lead in Game 1 and blow it, and have a 4-3 lead in each of the last 2 games and blow it in the third period is a sign of youth. It's a sign of kind of inexcusable play. It's a sign of choking. These are all things that are actually happening to the Mammoth right now, and I think you are seeing a team in Vegas that, whether it's the talent or the experience or the coaching, knows how to close out these games, and the Mammoths do not.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree. I mean, I'm still trying to learn this stuff. Like, how much impact does the coach actually have during the game? Inexperience, closing out, choking. I mean, they blew it for sure. Like, repeated mistake after repeated mistake in the third period that certainly culminated and ended up leading to the loss. I mean, give it what was the tying goal with 50
seconds left.
50
yeah. I mean, in the final minute. Yeah.
In the final minute, 50 seconds to go. I mean, you just can't do that. They pulled the goalie. I mean, they were crying uncle in a sense, or not crying uncle. Yeah. What am I looking for? But it was a Hail Mary.
Yeah, absolutely.
They were all but beat. And yeah, I don't know what to tell you. You got to be focused and not make mistakes when there's a minute to go in a playoff game. I don't know if that's experience or common sense or what. I was talking about that yesterday, how a lot of this has to do with Vegas is really good, and they are really good. They underachieved this year, and they all of a sudden started to achieve. I personally think the Mammoth's biggest problem, besides the mistakes and learning to overcome them or whatever, is where is the power play?
No, absolutely. The special teams are atrocious.
Where is the power play? And the penalty kill had been fairly good.
Has been good.
Now giving up multiple, shorthanded goals
in a series is inexcusable.
Inexcusable. No, I agree. But no, in the third period, they get a 4-minute power play, and they look like they're running in mud out there. I mean, they can't not even take advantage of the power play. They had a tough time pressing the advantage.
Yeah, generating looks.
So I don't know. Diagnose that, but the power play unit for the season has been up and down, and everybody was saying, oh, that's been cured going into the playoffs. Look at the numbers, bro. They're killing it.
Yeah.
And it's just disappeared. So if you want to talk about this mistakes, I think that's relevant, and certainly learning from mistakes is relevant, and doing anything first is hard, and on and on and on. But you're supposed to have the advantage. I mean, Ben, you would be barbecuing a basketball team if they were terrible on the break, or maybe a better example, they were terrible at free throws.
Yeah, free throws. That's exactly where it is.
You have the advantage. That's the built into the game to give you the advantage. And if you're shooting as a team 62% from the line, then you're really booting it, and that's on you. It's not on anybody else, And you get a 4-minute penalty. Well, what was it? A double minor. You get a 4-minute penalty. You should lock that game down. That thing should be over.
Yep.
And they couldn't do it, and they haven't been able to do it at all during the series. And that was honestly, and I'm not downplaying the mistakes at all, or those details that certainly led to the loss. But that honestly was the biggest story to me from last night's game.
There are a lot of ways they could get better, but that is the easiest place to improve. They are 1 of 14 in this series in the power play. And 1 of 14, 7%.
Now, Ben, you are the hockey aficionado, but I believe we've heard from multiple guests multiple times that part of the advantage of being a speed team is that you draw a lot of penalties, which, again, gives you the advantage.
Yep.
The advantage. So, I can think right now, the example of the one power play goal they have, it was in game 3. Yeah, the first one at Delta Center, and Dylan Gunther ended up banging that thing home. That was it.
Yep.
It's game 6 coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah,
yep.
Tomorrow. I keep forgetting what day it is. So I thought that was a huge story. I mean, you get the advantage. You got to press the advantage. That's got to be, it's supposed to be a big deal for a team built like this. Not like that. Like this. Not like that.
You going to play those or no?
No, he said not like that.
Okay.
I still said like that.
Several times. Way too
Like
many.
that?
Probably too many times.
Now I'm distracted. I forgot what I was even talking about. Get stuck on like this.
Power play, penalty
No,
kill.
I remember the power play. It's the basics. You have to be better. I mean, if that's how your entire team is structured to get those advantages, and you're not taking advantage of it, well, that's a huge blown opportunity. And I don't know if that's coaching. I think a lot of it's got to be execution on the ice.
Do you feel like they know what they're looking for in the power play? They did in game 3, because what did they do? They were just spamming Dylan Gunther one-timers on the left side circle. And they've done that all season long and over the last 2 years, and he's great at it. And I get that Vegas adjusts and takes that away. So what's your next thing? What's your next look that you're going for? And why have you given up 2 shorthanded goals? Because you can't even get to the point where you know what you're looking for. That's a real flaw, that they're just not even generating enough looks. For reference, you're looking at about a 20% success rate on the power play during the regular season for most teams. That's about average. And they're at 7% right now. So if you're on average 1 of 5, And you're doing it a third that often. I mean, it's just going to absolutely roast you. It's going to barbecue you. And it has barbecued them in this series.
And last night, it's not just the power play. And of course, this is where I get not just the number of power plays, and this is where I get frustrated with statistics sometimes. It's that power play.
Yeah.
It's the one in the third period where you've got 4 minutes.
4 minutes, yep.
It's that power play. At the most critical time during the series, you have an advantage, and they blew that advantage. And that's rough. And I mean, how much we're going to have the Bear on the show at the top of the 4 o'clock hour, and we're certainly not going to rake him over the coals, but we'll try to ask you about some of this stuff.
Why does the power play suck?
Yeah,
honestly, no. That has to be answered. That might be the story of the entire series. In fact, you had a power play in overtime, which is again sudden death, and you give up a shorty.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's inexcusable, and some of that again goes back to Uyghur turning the puck over in the D zone in just inexcusable places, and he's done that a lot this series, and that's why Cole Bagley came on our show and roasted him, just saying, I don't think he's been good since the trade. In fact, it's a really bad sign that the two big acquisitions they made are J.J. Peterka and Mackenzie Uyghur, and they've been arguably the two worst players in the series for the Mammoth. And those are the two big additions they made.
He played a lot more than I expected.
But he did get benched
last night.
in Game 4. He did get benched.
But he played in Game 5 more than I thought.
And Mackenzie has given up 2 game-deciding goals with turnovers in the D zone. Like, that's the veteran defenseman you went out to get specifically to not do that. And he's cost you 2 games, and he scored twice, so maybe he's made up for some of it. But the turnover leading to the Mitch Marner breakaway that Veg stops, credit Veg, but leads to an Vegas zone face-off in OT on a power play for the Mammoth cannot happen. And you give that up and you lose. That's why you're down in this series, and that's why you're the first team now. As we mentioned, there's been 29 instances when a team has had a goal lead or a lead of any kind in the third period of 5 straight playoff games to not close out the series.
I guess I'm curious as to what's systematic and what's just a player made a mistake. The veggie holding on to the puck too long when he's out clearing it.
Yep.
Like, that's a mistake.
Big time.
That's
Uyghur
not
losing the puck on a stick, huge mistake.
That's not a game plan problem. That's
right. That's not Bear. Bear didn't say, hey, Mackenzie Uyghur, when you're turning around, lose the puck by 4 feet right in front of Mitch Marner.
Now, I don't know enough about hockey to really have an accurate take on this, but the late substitution at the end of regulation, was that a good idea? I know I kind of went, what are they doing when it happened?
Yeah.
But would it be better to have fresh legs in those closing seconds? I don't know.
Yeah. Why has Dorofeyev come in since moving up to that top line and scored 5 goals? Is it 4 goals since he moved in? He had 3 last night.
Yeah.
And he had 1 in the first game. He's got at
4.
least 4.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the attention to that adjustment? Clearly that was a move that Tortorella made that has worked. And not only did it work in Game 1 and work excellently, or in Game 4, because it unlocked Dorofeyev and unlocked that top line and actually moved Marner back to the second line where he's been more successful.
Mm-hmm.
But he got better in Game 2 or Game 5 in his second game with that top line. Where was the adjustment there to nullify that a little bit? Why does he keep finding himself in space? Is he just that much better than everybody else? No. We're not talking about Connor McDavid here. So, those are the questions here that the Mammoth are going to be asking themselves after this game, after this series, if they lose, and rightfully so. These are mistakes that they are making that they still have time to atone for because, you're coming back to Salt Lake. You've only got to win 1. These last 2 games have gone to overtime. And they've had A+ scoring chances in each of these overtimes to take an advantage. This series could have been closed out had they taken advantage of both of them, but they haven't. And now they've got their backs against the wall.
I know what I do to change it up against Pavel. Take him out of the series.
Sure. We'll see it.
If Celtic pride has taught us anything.
Mm-hmm. Kidnapping. Dan Aykroyd, David Stern, Daniel Stern, not David Stern.
Not David.
Does he make a cameo in that?
David Stern?
David?
I don't think
It is about the NBA.
It is. It's about the Jazz, in fact.
Daniel Stern and the Boston Celtics kidnapping one of the Wayans brothers.
Who was the best player on the Jazz? So if Pavel isn't there, he's not scoring goals, Ben.
We are not advocating to kidnap him.
Kind of. Christian, Celtic Pride. You heard of it?
I haven't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's a movie about the Utah Jazz.
It is.
That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
They're the villains.
Which Wayans brother?
Damon.
I like me some Wayans.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just watched the new one. It came out last year. Him. Not a great movie. But Marlon Wayans actually did pretty good.
Have you ever seen White Chicks?
I love White Chicks.
Yeah, Celtic Pride.
Celtic Pride.
They're in the
funny.
finals. It's the Celtics and the Lakers.
And the Jazz.
The Jazz and the Celtics, excuse me. Damon Wayans' name is Lewis Scott, and they kidnap him.
He's the best player on the Jazz.
He's Michael Jordan.
And these are Dan Aykroyd and the other bad guy from Home Alone are super fans, and they kidnap the Jazz player to ensure that Boston will win the series.
Okay. Can they actually use like Celtics and Jazz?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
And it's funny.
horrible, but it's great.
It's funny. You should see it. Not before you see Almost Famous, but you should see it.
Yeah.
Add it to the list.
Maybe ahead of Jerry Maguire, but
Really?
after Almost Famous. So, yeah, the Mammoth have to get back on track, and they don't have chances now to sleep on this. You know, you've got to execute better. You have to score and take advantage of your opportunities. And I do think the problem here is, while I do believe that Vegas is showing they're the better team, they're the better team because they're punishing the Mammoth for the mistakes that the Mammoth are making.
Yeah, they're more disciplined for sure.
So
I
the
agree with
Mammoth have as much talent. I don't think there's a great talent discrepancy between these two teams. Yeah, again, you don't lead in the third period of every game if you don't belong on the ice with this team.
No, it's
But-
3-2. It's obviously quite balanced.
And yeah, back-to-back overtime games, 3 total overtime periods in this series so far. Yeah, it's really balanced. And then it just comes down to execution. And I think that's harder to swallow. Now, it's a very young team. The Mammoth are still pretty young.
Wait. Harder to swallow than what?
Than a team that truly just doesn't belong on the ice
So
with the
would
other.
you rather be the Bills against the Cowboys or the Falcons against the Patriots?
I don't know if those are apt comparisons.
No, in the Super Bowl. I'm just talking about conceptually. No, like what you're saying is, would you rather be on top of a good team and blow it, and that's how you lose?
Or just don't belong at all?
Or just get waxed? Which would you rather be? The Buffalo Bills against the Cowboys where they lost like 56
It's
to 0
easier
or
to
whatever?
understand the Bills are not as good as the Cowboys than Atlanta. How are you up 28-3?
I would way rather be the Bills.
Yeah.
Way rather
Right,
be
exactly
the Bills.
right.
Atlanta, the most epic collapse maybe in sports history.
Yeah, 28-3 is a forever score.
They had the Patriots buried in the ground and let them back in to lose. Just conceptually speaking, I thought that was interesting. I'd way rather just get waxed.
Yeah, the Avalanche, who did they beat? The Kings in the first round?
Yeah, 4-0.
They were just way better.
Yeah.
So it was easy to see what happens there. Now, look, credit the Mammoth for making this more of a series, and Mammoth fans may like the 2 wins that they've gotten. I totally understand that, but it hurts way worse to know that you are as good.
Or
and
you at least have the advantage.
have the advantage
You
or
had 'em.
have the chance, and you've blown them.
You had the lead.
So, and while we can say, well, this is Cooley's first time being here, and this is Gunther's first time being here, like, this is not the first time Keller's been here. It's not the first time Sergachev's been here. It's not the first time Uyghur's been there. It's not the first time Nate Schmidt's been there. It's not the first time John Marino's been there. Like, a lot of these guys do have playoff experience. So it's not just youth. And yeah, I know it's Bear's first time being here, but he's coached in the playoffs a lot in his career at different levels. Like, I get it. I get that there's some youth here. I get that you're young, but it's like, so what? You know, you've put yourself in the opportunity to win. Find a way to win. And I think it's reasonable that fans are frustrated. And I think if you saw on social media, and I think if you took the general temperature of fans right now, they'd be very frustrated, and rightfully so. This has been a frustrating performance from that team, especially over the last 2 games when they've shown that they can be better than this.
Well, yeah, they're facing elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah, fans don't want to have their team eliminated. How did the watch party go on the plaza? Anybody? I saw the shots on TV. It looked good. Was there
I
a good
thought it was going to
turnout?
be indoors, so that was my fault for assuming it would be inside. I wonder if there was a concert or something last night, but it seemed like people showed up.
No, it was just our guy Jeremy Potter who probably put the game on the flat screen and just watched it
For himself?
Watched it by himself.
Yeah, sitting at midcourt,
Spread out.
popcorn,
Hot dog. Yeah.
reaching for everything.
Our guy really enjoying the broadcast. But it looked cool. Hopefully lots of fans win. I mean, I do think that's really the most relevant factor of this playoff visit for the Mammoth is how do you get some energy, win or lose, into the community to get people all about it and on board. I mean, that's how Ryan Smith sustains the investment. I mean, if you want to draw a comparison to golf, you know, it's one thing to put $1 zillion into live right up front, but eventually it's got to start
Producing.
It's got to start producing. And I don't know. I haven't gotten a look at Ryan Smith's books, Ben. I'm sure you've tried to break into the office and get a peek at them. But I'm guessing this investment isn't because the Mammoth are printing money yet.
Yeah, totally agree.
So they need to get that still is the biggest story, I think, is getting the community on board and getting people excited. And I don't know about today, Ben, but I've seen Mammoth stuff everywhere.
Jerseys everywhere, Mammoth stuff
People
everywhere.
are stoked.
Yeah, your mom was on the flight with a bunch of Mammoth fans going down to Vegas.
I told you I had to drop my car off at the shop. Mm-hmm. And, dude, there was a Vegas sticker on one of the employees' cars. And so I just kind of casually mentioned, like, oh, who's got the Vegas, who's got the Golden Knights sticker? And the guy I was working with is like, it's my boss. And then started to talk my ear off about the Mammoth.
I sent out a tweet the other day, walking around my neighborhood, just an evening stroll, and saw 5 Mammoth flags, different houses.
That's the important part.
I agree.
And honestly, if people are cranky today, and I always have tried to tell team people this. I remember I was talking specifically with someone with the Jazz when the fans were so mad because Darren Williams put them out of the playoffs. Do you remember that game? And the next day, everybody was just so cranky. They weren't going to the playoffs and mad. And I was talking to somebody over there, and I was like, ignore what they're saying. They're mad because they care.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're talking about you. It's a good sign.
They're mad because they care. They had the energy, and I think I used this but they had the energy to pull out their phone, open up an app, figure out where to send the message, and poured the energy into their phone to do that. Ben, if you don't care about something, how much of that are you actually doing?
Yeah.
You're leaving your phone in your pocket.
You remember the last Salt Lake Stallions game, right?
No.
Oh, yeah, nobody does. Yeah,
no, I do, because Gianni Paul got hurt.
Okay,
and
well,
that
that's not
sucked.
great,
He got a bad injury, and then they shut up the league.
Okay, well, that stinks, but that's a bad
I do
news.
remember that.
But the example of, like, you don't know the scores of the teams that don't matter. You don't know the storylines of the games that don't matter. But I ask you why the Jazz lost to the Los Angeles Clippers 6 years ago in a playoff series. And you can tell me it was Terrence Mann sitting in the corner draining threes and Captain Jack not making adjustments to get Rudy Gobert in the corner. So if the Mammoth lose this series, we're going to go back and talk about 5 straight third-period leads that they can't win.
Wait. You're making a great point, but I got to pause the show for a second because we got to talk about a bit. We could do this on the air.
Okay.
If we're going to keep up with the Captain Jack thing, which I am 100% on board with, by the way, we've got to figure out what is the best Captain Jack drop that we need to drop in there, because I think that bit needs to be accompanied by something.
Absolutely, it does.
What is the Jack Sparrow audible quote that would best match up with this bit?
And if you're new to the show, and maybe even if you're not new to the show, this is a very new bit for us, is that we learned that the Atlanta Hawks players call Quinn Snyder Captain Jack, which is so funny because Quinn Snyder wanted no shenanigans around anything in his life, but specifically his name.
Yep.
He didn't want to be called Q. He didn't want to be called Quinn. He wanted to be called Coach or Coach Snyder.
That's it.
And it devolved into all of the things he hated. Quinn, Q, whatever. And so the fact that his nickname has come out and came out on national TV.
Thanks to CJ McCollum.
Means Jake and I have to continue to ride with Captain Jack. So yes, I do
it's
think you're
amazing.
Right. We do need a drop.
If that is Buddy Hield who came up with that, he is my new favorite NBA player.
And the preface, we still don't know why.
Oh,
right?
it's
We have
because
an idea, but we don't officially know.
We know. He's got massive Jack Sparrow energy.
Yeah, he does.
Massive. Like looks, the whole thing. Massive Jack Sparrow energy. So what, I don't know. I'm trying to remember back to that movie.
Christian, I'm sure there is a montage on YouTube of the best of Captain Jack Sparrow. If you have time, let's cut up a few and we can spend a segment figuring out some of our favorite Captain Jacks.
Sorry, I just needed to pause that so we could storyboard that for a second, because I think that definitely needs a drop.
Our guy Colton tweets in and says, I'd rather see a guy like Dmitry Simashev lose a puck like that. He said that twice in the tweet. Shout out Colton. In the D zone and learn from it instead of a veteran guy like Uyghur. He should know better. Yeah, Uyghur's 32. I mean, you brought him in specifically to not make these mistakes. These are mistakes that Dmitry Simashev, that Maverick Lamoureux will be making in the playoffs at some point when they are playing, not Mackenzie Uyghur. These are not mistakes that veterans get paid to make, unfortunately, and he is making them. And I thought Ian Cole absolutely brought the hammer yesterday, had the best hit that we've seen maybe in Mammoth history. We've seen some of I think John Marino's been A+ in this series. I think Nate Schmidt's been very solid in this series. Sergachev's been a little bit up and down, but Uyghur's been flat out bad, other than the 2 goals that he scored. And that's, that's hard to watch, I think, if you're a Mammoth fan.
All right, coming up on the show today at 3 o'clock, we're going to talk to ESPN NHL writer Ryan Clark. Not that Ryan Clark, the NHL Ryan Clark. Oh, Ryan S. Clark, excuse me. I'm trying to think. Stefan, you think that's what the S stands for?
Probably.
Okay. Well, Ryan will be on with us top of 3 o'clock hour. Coach Andre Torney is going to join us at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. And how about this Bill Oram? Yes, that Bill Oram.
Bill S. Oram.
Will be on with us at 4:30. Bill, a longtime writer for the Trib. And now he's at the Oregonian.
With a stop in Los Angeles.
He's a columnist at the Oregonian.
He covers El Cheapo.
He does, which that nickname is a columnist dream.
Yeah. Why are the Trailblazers so cheap, and can Damian Lillard pull them out of it?
But I happen to really like Bill.
I love
Bill.
So
excited to have him on the show coming up at 4:30. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Top 3 stories of the day. KSLSports.com is coming up next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You are without doubt the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We had a heated off-air debate about which Jack Sparrow quotes to use. Frankly, I haven't seen the movie recently enough. You went through a reel over there. We found a couple candidates. Maybe this is a good chance to get feedback. Captain Jack is Quinn Snyder's new nickname, and we're carrying it on the show. We need a drop to go along with it. What's your favorite Jack Sparrow line? Use the call in. Go to the KSLSports.com app. Go to the call in feature, and you can send us a message. Make sure you say it's for Jake and Ben.
But if you try to impersonate Captain Jack Sparrow, like you actually put a little spirit into it, there's a chance that your reading becomes the Captain Jack drop.
You could be the drop if it's good.
This show could be on the air for weeks. We might make it to, it's May's tomorrow. We'll make it to May. You could be on the air by June, through June at least, if we do a good job. No promises.
Yeah, probably not.
No promises.
But anyway, do a call in, send it on in. We'll play some of those. And if you're one of our friends in the future on the podcast, still participate. We do not want to exclude you. We can always play it on future shows.
Whoever and however you absorb us, please do.
Still gives me the creeps every time.
Callers have liked it.
Absorbers
have liked it.
Stop it, absorbers. Stop that. Top 3 stories of the day, KSLSports.com. It's brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
NBA playoffs, couple of big games tonight, both 3-2 series with the Nuggets and Timberwolves and the Knicks and Hawks.
I think the Knicks probably close this out, though they are on the road in Atlanta, and these are games that the Knicks love to lose. The Knicks love feel like they're in a spot to have success and close it out and move on to the next thing. And they're just not all that well built to close out series, it seems. They are not quite, I don't know if it's discipline or talent, not to bring up a conversation we're just having about the Mammoth, but
no, the Knicks stink. I agree with that.
They just let teams off the hook a lot.
Yeah, they're not very good.
They no-show.
It's true. The whole East is so horribly bad.
And Atlanta is particularly, what's the word? Mercurial.
Yeah.
Sometimes they show up and they look unbeatable, and sometimes you thought, this team made the playoffs?
Yeah, not in love with any of the teams in the East, including like the Cavs or the Raptors. I was telling you last night, we were out to dinner for Maggie's birthday at a place that had the game on. What did the Raptors have lead-wise there in the fourth quarter?
They went in up 3 and then built on that, but they were outscored 25-17 and lost by 5.
They were up 10 with like 4 or 5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
as I'm kind of watching it out of the corner of my eye. Then the lava cake came out, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
And she was pretty excited about that.
Did Taylor Swift end up waiting for you guys?
No, we did not keep her waiting. But the next time I looked up at the old tube, it was over. The Raptors won.
Yeah.
The
Cavs won.
Or the Cavs won.
Yeah.
I was shocked. And I know you're not a Brandon Ingram guy, but I got to think if they had Brandon Ingram, that may have been a little bit different. They just needed somebody who could make a basket.
It was 121-111 with 4:20 to go.
There you go.
122-111. Excuse me.
That's when I got distracted with the cake. Yeah. Other games, the Pistons stayed alive against the Magic. You believing in Detroit at all yet?
Not as much as I doubt Orlando. And again, Franz Wagner's hurt. It's the same thing you're talking about with Brandon Ingram. It's like, yeah, I can get behind Brandon Ingram theoretically, but realistically, he's hurt every 2.5 weeks. And Franz Wagner apparently is the same way. You know, Franz might be as good as or better than Lauri Markkanen. I mean, I think he's that caliber of player. He's younger. He's not the same type of player. He's a little more ball in hand and like a go-to scorer, slasher, etc. But you lose him, it's like the Jazz losing Lowry. I think he's that quality.
Uh-huh.
But he's always hurt. He's always hurt. And he got hurt again. He's dealing with calf stuff, so he didn't play last night. And it was still close, so I think that's maybe the sign where I think the Magic can still close this out. And they've got 2 opportunities still to do so, including going back home where Detroit has not been particularly good playing in Orlando. And if they get him back, they'll be far more set up to do that. But if he doesn't play, then absolutely Detroit can win this series. And that's, not great analysis, but it's just the truth of the matter.
And then I love it. Hey, I've got no love for the Rockets, and I certainly have no love for the Lakers. But I love it that LeBron tried to bully Reed Shepherd, and then Reed Shepherd just buried him.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, let me ask you this. Okay, when you were on the skate team, when you were a teenager,
mm-hmm.
there were probably some junior high kids that were around the park, right?
Mm-hmm.
That were, hanging out, playing or whatever, but significantly smaller than you know.
Yes.
Did you run over them? Did you bump them?
No,
or
of course
did you
not.
do anything?
No.
Reed Shepherd is the size of a small child.
Yeah.
Reed Shepherd is Christian's size,
He's a little guy.
maybe smaller.
Yeah.
And LeBron's bumping him and trying to bully him down the floor?
Yep.
Come on, dude. Who does that?
Yeah, on the way back, he throws his shoulder into him after a made basket, and then, yes, Reed kind of eyeballed him and hit a step-back jumper right over him. Yeah, good for Reed. That's where you got to bounce back. You can't be afraid of LeBron.
But who bumps into Reed Shepherd?
I'm
Who
with
does
you.
that?
I'm with you.
He didn't do that to Şengün.
No, correct. He picked on the smallest guy on the floor.
It's like, let me bump old Reed Shepherd.
The other funny part of this series, and it's already been announced he's not going to play in Game 6, is that Kevin Durant has not played in these last 2
he's not gonna
Rockets
play
wins.
again.
And there's a real belief that he's played his final game for the Rockets.
Yeah,
but
they're smoke to that fire. They've cut him basically.
Yeah.
They said we're done with this.
Yeah, we don't want you anymore. We're not better with you on the court, as we've seen. Now again, he hasn't played in 2 of the 3 games, and they're 2-1 in those series.
But they can't
or in those matchups.
But they can't bench him because if they bench him, then they lose all their leverage.
Right.
So they're going to say you're hurt.
Yeah, he's got a heel injury. He's got a bone bruise.
You're hurt. No, I think that, honestly, the whole burner thing or the chat that came out or whatever, I bet that did a lot more damage than they let on.
Did you hear before Game 4 when the Rockets were down 3-0, apparently Alperen Şengün gave the team this big rallying cry. He got together in practice this morning and I don't know if it was players only, but apparently he rallied the roster. I honestly wonder if a lot of that has to do with we're done with Kev. We're moving on from Kevin.
I believe it.
We're moving forward. This is us. And we're going to win or lose as this group, but Kevin's not a part of it anymore because he's off getting treatment or faking it or tweeting or whatever Kevin Durant's nonsense has always been.
Hanging out with Rich Kleiman.
Yeah, whatever he's doing. Because, everyone knows who his agent or representative is.
That's his manager. Not even his agent. Yeah. That's his manager. Do you remember when the Brooklyn Nets, in an official release, thanked his manager?
Yeah. So,
what a lunatic.
There is a real chance that the Rockets come back and become the first team ever down 3-0 to win this series. They have a ton of momentum. The Lakers did get Austin Reeves back, and he'll probably be better in Game 6 than he was in Game 5, just now that he can start to trust his oblique a little bit. But I think the Lakers are in some serious trouble. So that'll be fun to see if that ends up going 7.
I don't know if I'm on board with AR as a
nickname
NBA
or the
guy.
player?
No, I like the nickname. No, the player. He might be just way too one-sided.
Oh, he's definitely way too one-sided.
Way too one-sided.
Yeah, and they're about to max him out.
You think the Lakers will max him
Yeah,
out?
they have to.
Can they afford? Well, they get the 50 from LeBron coming off the books.
Yeah,
right?
they don't have anyone on their roster next year other than Luka. So they've got all the money in the world, which is why people think they're going to go after Walker Kessler. But because they need Walker to make up for the defense of Luka and Austin Reeves. So they think they need Walker.
All right, next.
Number 2, Ben's going to like this one. The Mammoth back to Delta Center tomorrow in a must-win.
It is a must-win. Otherwise, this series and this season is over. And I don't think it's been a bad season by any means. They set out a goal of making the playoffs, and they've been there, but they have set themselves up to have more success in the postseason than they are currently experiencing. And I think that's where the frustration comes from. But the good news is you did see him back last night. That was Barrett Hayton, and I thought just having him back kind of solidified the depth chart a little bit more. He was on that third line and pushed Kerfoot out to the wing while he was playing center.
Yes, this is a must-win. Good point. Terrific point made by you, Christian.
I had to bust it out.
If they do not win tomorrow,
There is no tomorrow.
there's no tomorrow after that
Yeah.
for the season. Not for the planet.
Well, I hope not.
Maybe.
Yeah. well,
Not for our friends.
where's
in
the Doomsday Clock?
Our friends in the future, please let us know.
Our absorbers.
Is there a Saturday?
I hope
But
so.
yeah, they've got to win. Honestly, would you rather have a team that is fundamentally overmatched or a team that makes mistakes? I'll take the team that makes mistakes every time and we can talk to Bear about this because you can fix mistakes.
Ideally, you can fix mistakes.
You can fix mistakes. You can fix focus. You can do things to correct those
Yes,
things.
if I'm a coach, I want the team making mistakes because I think I can fix them. I can't fix you not being as good as the other team.
The Jazz against the Lakers, the Andrew Bynum Lakers, they were fundamentally overmatched.
Yes.
They did not have enough size to compete against that particular team, and that's why they kept losing to it. I don't think that the Mammoth are overmatched in that way, and I think they've proven that in this series. I don't know, maybe our more educated puck fans out there could school us or would disagree. I saw a team that made a lot of mistakes, and like we said in the first segment, Ben, didn't take advantage of their advantage, and I would think both those things are fairly fixable. The mistakes certainly more than the power play.
You do worry about within an individual series if now that they've blown 3 out of the 5 leads that they've held in the third period, if they start to believe in that hype. So now even when they build a lead, they don't have the ability to play loose. They only play tight. They only go into that pre-vet defense, and they don't know how to move it from 1 goal to 2 goals. And they've just believed the narrative now that they can't do it. And certainly on the flip side, if you're Vegas, you just don't care at all if you're down a goal in the third period because you know the Mammoth can give it back and probably will give it back because they have.
Well, I certainly don't think they think that way, the Mammoth, whether they know it or not. I don't think they're a can't win, don't try bunch. That's how
Certainly
I
trying.
would be. But got to figure it out. Just, I would imagine it's one little detail at a time and tighten it up. Start there. All right, what's next?
Number 3, yesterday, the Big 12 voted to approve a private capital deal with Redbird Capital.
So
Redbird, the right hawk in the right place. You know what I'm talking about, Christian? Now we're going to get to play that drop a lot. That's awesome. Anyway, sorry.
thank you for doing that. So yes, at least this deal that the presidents and chancellors ratified, it's a 5-year agreement with Redbird. It delivers an infusion of capital, at least $12.5 million to the league office to drive what they call commercial development and business growth. So just basically a way to advertise for the Big 12. They can use that money. And then the schools that opt in can get a capital credit line of $30 million each. And they also get a business partnership that they hope could pay off when it goes to market for its next media rights contract. This is on top of what the Utah Utes already did with their own private capital.
Yes, they're unrelated because this will take points off of the overall conference take, whereas Otro, right, was taking points off what Utah makes.
Correct.
So it's entirely unrelated. We should find the Redbird thing for sure. Let's play away, Christian, whenever you're ready.
Let's see, who was it on that play? It was Redbird. Redbird was the hawk in the right place at the right time. I guess that's true what they say. A bird in the hand is worth a ball on the carpet. So Bird gets the on the fumble recovery.
Well, I guess credit in hand is better than a ball on the carpet. Yeah, that's what I'm going to take. I don't like any of this stuff, frankly. I don't know what this does. I don't know. There are universities that obviously need cash infusion. This is the conference enabling those universities to do that. I think if the Big 12 gets caught up in how do they keep up with these other leagues financially, I think that's not possible. So why sell out your future to do something that's not? I mean, it's honestly, if you want to look at specifically at Utah, I think they're going to have to go back to the Mountain West days in a sense that you've got to make a dollar out of a dime. You're not going to have the resources other universities do. So what do you do to compete otherwise? How do you figure it out? The Big 12 is not going to have the same financial resources as the SEC or the Big 10, period. End of story. So instead of trying to keep up, what are you doing?
If Brett Yormark can guarantee his presidents and chancellors or whatever, the athletic departments of the Big 12, that the next time their TV deal comes up, that they're all going to be making even more money and swimming in it, and it's all going to be fine, I think you're okay to take an annuity, essentially. You're okay to take out this loan, this money, if you want to say there's too big of a gap between us and the Big 10 or us and the ACC. It's not the ACC, us and the SEC. And we just need to keep that close until the next TV deal, and then that may shrink the gap, which I don't think is going to happen. But if Brett Yormark can assure that, I understand taking this $30 million, using the loan, selling out whatever, to keep that race tight. Problem is, I just don't think that gap is ever going to close. I think it's only going to get bigger, most likely, because the Big 10 and the SEC control all of sports and want to pull away from the Big 12 and the ACC. They don't want these smaller conferences, even though they're both Power 4, to exist. So I would be very, very hesitant to start borrowing money.
I view it similarly as gambling in a way. And I know this is a big topic of conversation. Should sports have let the gambling companies into the fox into the hen house, so to speak? I feel very similarly about this. Who are you letting be involved now? Because I think this is particularly relevant because these are public universities for the most part. It's not private companies. These are public universities. And then it comes into play, Ben, when is enough enough? Mm-hmm. When is enough enough? I mean, Utah's athletic budget is well north of $100 million. I haven't looked at the recent numbers, but I mean, when you look at it as a whole, but at specific universities, when is enough enough? When are you going to be so flush with cash that you can stop? Is there, you know what I mean? Like, when are you going to be able to stop?
You've been doing this for 20 years. I've been doing it for close to 15. Does it feel like they've even gotten close? I mean, has anyone ever exercised even an intent to stop?
But this is a problem with the entire university system, honestly.
No, absolutely.
And it's greed. And it's like, and part of it's understandable because if somebody came to you and you're running in a university and say, hey, how would you like to build a new building? You're going to say, oh, yeah, of course. Because we're not worried about raising tuition or whatever. It's just up and up and up and up and up and up and up. I mean, it's not only a sports problem, it's an entire university problem. But until somebody answers the question, like, when is it enough? When do we stop?
No, I look right now, in my time watching the University of Utah over the last 15 years, it was like, we want to get Utah painted on the roof of the north end zone. And it was like, well, what if we could maybe add lights to that? And then it was, what if we need a practice facility? And then it's, what if we need a new basketball facility? And then what if we move the Huntsman? It's just, there's no stop. Yeah, there is no stop to it. There's never going to be enough.
So if you're cashing out because you need cash now.
Yeah.
Which is what Utah was doing with Ocho Capital. And then on a larger scale, supposedly what the Big 12 is doing, right? When are you not going to be thirsty for cash? Are you going to constantly now be cashing out? Selling more and more and more and more? I mean, where does it end?
No, that's what
not that you and I have the answers, but I'd like to, where does it end?
No, that's what I would be absolutely afraid of. If I was a fan of the University of Utah, BYU has said they're not getting involved in this type of thing. Brian Santiago had said they're not doing private equity at BYU, and it wasn't a shot at Utah, but I think he was asked about it, and he said, no, we don't need to, and good, they don't need to. If you have a donor that'll pay it, don't take a loan. If you can pay your car cash, don't take a loan. It's way smarter to pay your car off in cash. And all these companies are just starting to take out these companies, and that's what they are. These schools, our companies, are taking out loans to fund these weird, it's not even an investment necessarily to make money back. It's just payroll. Taking out a loan for payroll is really dangerous. So that's where they find themselves, and I hate it. I think it's ridiculous. I think it's ruined the sport entirely, but they seem to think it's necessary, and at least this gives them the option.
I worked with a dude once that took out a title loan on his title loan.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, dude, you might need to figure out.
It's risky.
You might need to figure out a little more of a long-term strategy than just title loans.
Right. Refinancing.
I don't think that's going to work.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to work out long-term.
Yeah. But that's where they are.
I know. I'll be curious. Where does it end? Stay tuned. More next. We're going to talk more Mammoth hockey and NHL in general with Ryan S. Clark at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. He covers the NHL for ESPN. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Stay tuned. We've got ESPN NHL writer Ryan S. Clark coming up right around the corner. Ben, we talked yesterday about, I think it was yesterday, how many bee stings you would endure for how much money?
$1,000 a sting.
You were going to take like 1,500 stings.
800.
Like
1,000 will kill you.
I think I've got a new line of work for.
So I want to be in the hospital for a while, but not so much that it drains the entire revenue gain.
Okay, listen, dude, this is way better. All right, I've got a way better idea for you. Let's see, what's this woman's name? Some gal went on a Carnival cruise. Diana Sanders went on a
big week for Diana's.
Went on a big couple of weeks. Went on a Carnival cruise in Florida or out of Florida. She sat down at the bar, Ben, and she was served 12 tequila shots.
Okay.
She then fell down some stairs and suffered a possible traumatic brain injury. Now, hold on. You noticed the word possible in there, right? Okay. You hang on to that. She was just awarded 300 GER.
For taking 12 shots?
For the apparently Carnival, she claimed she was overserved and sued the cruise line and won $300K. Like, first of all, I mean, she's faking that brain injury, right? We can all...
It's possible.
Yeah, we can all agree. I mean, possible traumatic brain injury. Yeah, that sounds like a fake one up to me.
Yeah, on trial.
That's the person who shows up in the neck brace after the...
Do you feel you have a brain injury?
But
it's possible.
Are you telling me I could get paid $300K by simply saddling up at a cruise bar, taking 12 shots down and falling down the stairs? I'll do that.
12 shots.
That's a lot.
A lot.
That's a lot.
For the uninitiated, like...
That's a lot.
4, you'll be pretty bombed, in all honesty, unless you're like a real experienced drinker.
No, 12's a lot.
12's a lot.
It's not a coincidence she fell down the stairs.
Now, do I think that on every single cruise forever, including whatever cruise is on the road right now, there is somebody who's taking 12 shots at the bar every night? Yes, I do. That's why people go on cruises, to get bombed in part.
That's what you got to take a header down the stairs. That's part 2. That's the tough part.
Better to dive inside the boat than outside the boat.
Oh, amen to that. Well, nobody's talking about going overboard, Ben. That doesn't sound good. Just I went on a Disney cruise. There are a lot of stairs.
Right.
You could take a tumble down any of them.
Face first.
Tuck and roll, baby.
Possible head injury.
Yeah, right. Possible head injury. $300K right there. This feels like, and we don't have enough time, but this for some reason reminds me of our Four Loko guy.
Oh, Rusty?
Yeah, the guy that drank, what was it, 12 Four Lokos?
So there's a guy on TikTok named Rusty Ranks Beers, and he would drink a case of beer. So a 12-pack of whatever, or however you buy them.
Which, again, is a lot.
Is a lot, again. And he drank Four Lokos, which Four Lokos 4 times the average or whatever it is. It's a huge...
And then it's chock full of caffeine.
And sugar.
It was illegal in Utah.
Enormously high alcohol content. And he...
By the end of it was really
drank
funny.
8 of them. And by the end, Rusty is barely alive.
He's like, do not do this.
Don't do this.
Don't do this.
Got dark outside.
Stay tuned. We're going to talk some Mammoth NHL hockey coming up next. We're going to be joined by Ryan S. Clark of ESPN. Stay tuned. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses for a limited time. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.